Hi, my name is John Sly, and I'm a real estate agent with Edina Realty in Minnesota. And what I'm going to be talking to you today about is the advantages of investing in real estate versus renting. An interesting study was done by the Federal Reserve back in 2019, and what they found was that homeowners were 43 times worth more than renters. They found that the median net worth of a homeowner was $255,000 versus a renter's net worth of $6,300. Now, does that mean that everybody should have the goal of owning a home? Well, based on that information, I would say definitely yes if you want to build long-term wealth. Now, are there times when owning a home doesn't make sense and renting makes more sense? Of course. If you're just out of school and you have a new job, you're not sure if you like the job, or you're in a city that you're not sure you want to stay long term, then for sure renting probably makes more sense than home ownership. However, when you know you want to settle someplace and you're going to stay there for a period of time, I think you definitely want to look at owning real estate. Now, to demonstrate how real estate can impact your long-term wealth, I'm going to tell you a little story about a couple named Bill and Mary, who when they were in their late 20s, they were renting and moving from apartment to apartment, from city to city, not sure where they wanted to settle. And finally, they settled in the Twin Cities, and they were sitting on the sofa one day, and Bill turned to Mary and he said, "Mary," they were in their rental apartment. He said, "Mary, have you ever met a wealthy renter?" And Mary thought for a moment and she said, "You know what? I never have." And it was on that day that they decided to pursue home ownership. Now, before I get back to Bill and Mary, I would like to talk about some of the disadvantages of renting versus home buying. I think the biggest statistic that stood out to me was a study was done by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. And what they found was in the Twin Cities, since 2001, rents have gone up 13% adjusted for inflation compared to renters' household income, which has only gone up 0.5%. So if you continue to rent, more and more of your income is going to be going toward putting a roof over your head, and you're getting nothing in return. Now, in contrast, let's look at the benefits of home ownership. Now, rather than watching your rents keep going up and up, if you get a 15 or a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, your principal and interest payments will stay the same for the duration of the loan. The only thing that would go up or would be variable are your insurance rates and your property taxes. But for the most part, a large chunk of your monthly payment will be fixed. The other thing that's happening is the asset that you're living in is appreciating. In the Twin Cities, it's about 4 to 5% long-term appreciation for real estate. And so combination of appreciation and you paying down your principal over time will help you build equity. Now let's get back to Bill and Mary. Remember the day they were sitting on their sofa in their rental apartment, they decided to get into home ownership, and they bought their first starter home in their late 20s. Then they moved to a move-up house about 6 or 7 years later. And then when their kids went off and were living on their own, they downsized to a townhouse. Now they're in their mid-60s, and over that period of time, they were able to build equity of over $400,000. Now, had Bill and Mary continued to rent, their equity position in real estate would have been a big fat zero, and they would have been paying rents that whole time for the privilege of living in somebody else's house or townhouse, and the only person getting rich would be their landlord. So if you're interested in learning more about the real estate market, if you're first-time home buyers, by all means, contact me. I'd be glad to answer any questions you have and talk about what's happening in the market today. Just reach me through my website, johnsly.com, and I'd be glad to help. Thank you very much.